What if I told you that Canada's smallest provinces are home to the highest tides on the planet, and a place where you can take a 90-minute ferry to France? Or that one of these provinces runs on its very own, unique half-hour time zone, from the only confirmed Viking settlement in North America to a road that appears to defy the Bay of Fundy? A massive inlet separating New Brunswick and Nova Scotia is a global marvel. The highest tidal range on Earth. Twice a day, an incredible 160 billion tons of seawater flow in and out of the bay. To put that in perspective, this volume is greater than the combined flow of all of the world's freshwater rivers. This extreme phenomenon, driven by the bay's unique shape and resonance, creates a staggering vertical difference between high and low tide, up to 16 meters in some areas. The most famous place to witness this is at Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick, where flowerpot rock formations are completely submerged at high tide, only to have their bases fully exposed on the ocean floor just 6 hours later. This tidal power carves the coastline and is even being harnessed for renewable energy. The Joggins Fossil Cliffs on Nova Scotia's coast offer an unparalleled window into deep time. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is essentially a 300-million-year-old time capsule of the Carboniferous period, often called the Coal Age. What makes Joggins so special is that the fossils are in situ, meaning they are preserved in the exact positions they lived and died. As the cliffs erode, they reveal an astonishingly complete fossil record, including ancient forests, the footprints of early amphibians, and even the world's earliest reptile, Helionomus yelli, which was found preserved inside a fossilized tree stump. This site was so significant it was even mentioned in Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species. It's not just a collection of fossils, it's a complete ancient ecosystem preserved in stone. In Newfoundland's Grossmorn National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, you can do the impossible. Take a walk on the Earth's mantle. The tablelands are a flat-topped mountain range that look more like a desert on Mars than a typical Canadian landscape. This is because it's one of the few places on the planet where a massive slab of the mantle, the layer beneath the crust, is exposed. This colossal block of orange-red peridotite rock was thrust to the surface over 450 million years ago when two continents collided. The rock's composition is so alien to the surface world, rich in heavy metals and lacking nutrients, that most plant life can't survive. The tablelands provide crucial evidence that confirmed the theory of plate tectonics, making it one of the most important geological sites in the world. Every spring, the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador transforms into a spectacular parade of ancient ice, famously known as Iceberg Alley. These colossal giants, some weighing millions of tons and standing as tall as skyscrapers, have broken off the glaciers of Greenland. They are carried south by the cold Labrador Current, often passing remarkably close to the shore. It's one of the most accessible places in the world to see 10,000-year-old icebergs. Towns like Twillingate and St. John's become hotspots for iceberg hunters, who flock to watch the spectacle from cliffs, boats, and kayaks. This natural phenomenon is more than just a stunning visual. It's created a unique tourism industry, with local breweries even harvesting the pure ancient water to make iceberg beer and iceberg gin. In Moncton, New Brunswick, there's a small stretch of road that has baffled visitors for generations and appears to defy the very laws of physics. It's called Magnetic Hill, one of the most famous gravity hills in the world. The experience is simple. Drive your car to what appears to be the bottom of the hill, shift into neutral, and watch in disbelief as your vehicle seemingly rolls backward, uphill, against gravity. Is it magnetism? A mysterious force? The truth is a fascinating trick of the mind. Magnetic Hill is a perfect optical illusion. The configuration of the surrounding landscape, the way the trees lean and the hills on the horizon are sloped, skews your perspective, making a slight downhill grade look like a steep uphill climb. It's a simple, brilliant quirk of geography that has become one of Canada's most beloved and enduring tourist attractions. Nearly 500 years before Columbus set sail, Vikings landed in North America. The proof of this historic feat lies at Lanceau Meadows, a remote site on the northernmost tip of Newfoundland. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this is the only authenticated Norse settlement on the continent. Archaeological work in the 1960s uncovered the remains of 8 timber-framed, turf-walled buildings, identical to those found in Norse Greenland and Iceland from the same period. Carbon dating places the settlement at around 1000 Common Era, and the discovery of iron smelting workshops and artifacts like a bronze cloak pin confirmed its Norse origin. This site is the physical evidence of the Vinland, spoken of in Icelandic sagas, a place where Leif Erikson and his followers briefly lived, making Atlantic Canada the first point of contact between Europe and the Americas. Prince Edward Island proudly holds the title Cradle of Confederation. In 1864, the leaders of the British North American colonies met in Charlottetown to discuss a maritime union. This meeting, however, evolved into the first serious discussion about uniting all of the colonies into a new country. This Charlottetown Confederation directly led to the birth of Canada. But here's the historic irony. When Canada was officially formed in 1867, Prince Edward Island refused to join. The island delegates felt the terms, particularly regarding representation and the buyout of absentee landlords, were not in their favor. For 6 years, Prince Edward Island remained its own separate colony. It was only only in 1873, facing a severe economic crisis from a railway building project, that the island finally agreed to join. And Newfoundland, which also attended the early talks, held out even longer, not joining until 1949. Just 25 kilometers off the southern coast of Newfoundland lies one of the world's most fascinating geographic and political quirks, the islands of St. Pierre and Miquelon. This tiny archipelago is not part of Canada. It's a self-governing, overseas collectivity of France. It stands as the last remaining fragment of the once vast French colonial empire of New France. After France lost its North American territories to the British in the 18th century, it was allowed to retain these small rocky islands as a base for its fishing fleets. Today, its roughly 6,000 residents are French citizens, vote in French elections, and use the euro. Visitors can take a short ferry from Newfoundland and find themselves in a European town, complete with French bakeries, gendarmerie, and Citroën cars, creating a unique international border in the middle of Atlantic Canada.